All right, so it's 5:22. I just got home. There were issues with my car. I actually made it about 7 blocks from school. Had to call AAA, and I've been stuck. So that's my afternoon so far. So forgive me, but I had no choice. So this one again, I am going to insist that you guys do this because I did see quite a few of you not doing this. Okay, and I'd like you to combine the like terms by putting the like terms next to each other. So I have this 5s. I'm going to change colors here. Okay, so if you want to use colors, you're more than welcome. If you don't have colors, you can use triangles, rectangles, something to differentiate one like term from the other. And then finally at the back here, I can put -17. So if I'm doing the reds, it's 12 minus 4, which is 8. 8 plus 11 is 19. These two are positive, so it makes my life a little bit easier. It's going to be 14s. And finally, last term here, -17. So that's what you should have had. Over here, I get 8y is going to do absolutely nothing. Please don't subtract the 6 and 8y. They're not like terms, but this guy is going to be, what do you call, being multiplied by each term inside the parentheses. So it's negative times a positive, -18y. Negative times a negative gives you plus 42. That allows me to remove the parentheses, right? So now it allows me to combine these two. Be careful how you combine. 8y plus -18y. That's how you want to see it. And you get -10y plus 42. Okay, you really have to be careful. Distributive property allows us to remove the parentheses, so I get -28. Negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 3 is 12, not 13. 12b. Here, it's going to be 2z, right? So I'm multiplying these guys here. Everybody's positive, so it makes life easier. 2z, and 2 times 3 is 6. And then the 3 is going to be multiplying these two guys here. 3 and 5 is positive, so 3 times 3 is 15, plus 15. Positive times a negative is a negative, and 3 times 3 is 9z. I can combine this fellow over here with my 9z, so let me write these two side by side. Minus 9z. And then the other two guys, 6 plus 15. This right here is -7z. And plus 21. That's my final answer. Okay, so as you can tell, it's not that. Again, the more careful you are, the easier this is going to be. The less messier you are, I guess. So, again, distributed property, 35 plus 15x, and then -12. Remember, the 12 is not inside the parentheses, so it's just hanging out there waiting. Can I combine any like terms? Yes, I have this guy here, which is a 35 and a -12, so let me put them side by side. And I'm bringing the plus 15x to the back. So 35 minus 12 is, I don't know, 23. Positive, right? Plus 15x. And this is my final answer. Over here, I'm going to do, well, let's do the higher exponents first, right? So this guy over here is the bigger one. And then different color. It's this guy. It's this guy. And again, remember, I'm circling the term with a sign preceding it. And -7x. Plus 9x, and the numbers I'm just going to leave it there, okay? So if I bring everybody together, I'm going to get 4x cubed. That has no one to add or to combine or subtract, right? Plus the blues, plus 8x squared, minus 3x squared, and then the oranges, -7x, plus 9x, oranges, -7x, plus 9x, and then in black I'm going to do -2 plus 4. And now it's just a matter of combining. So that stays as it is. This stays as it is, 4x cubed. There's absolutely nothing to do with this guy. Now the blues, they're both positive numbers. Oh, actually, one's positive, one's negative. So it's 8 minus 3, which is +5. Positive 5 x squared. The oranges, again, remember, it starts here and goes all the way here. It's negative 7 plus 9. They're not friends, so plus 2x. And finally, again, it's not 2 plus 4, but negative 2 plus 4. Think of it that way. And that just gives us plus 2. That's my final answer. Bob moved this much yards on Monday, this many yards on Tuesday, and this many yards on Wednesday. How many yards did he move in all 3 days? So again, if that was just a number and I told you it's 3 yards, 4 yards, and 5 yards, you would add them, right? So I'm going to show you this. So on Monday he did this. And I'm going to put the parentheses only because I'm going to try to make a point here. And then plus the other guy, 3x squared. Now, because we're adding them, the parentheses are really not necessary. Okay, because again, if you think about it, and if you put a 1 over here and you use the distributive property, right? And you multiply this and these two, and then these two, right? Notice how it comes out after the distributive property. They all come out the same. So putting a parenthesis when we're adding, notice that the numbers inside the parentheses and how they come out when I remove the parentheses are exactly the same. This 3x squared is positive, and that 10 is positive. So it really was not necessary for me to put the parentheses, but you have to be careful because this is an addition, so that's okay. Like terms, and you know what, I'm going to circle this fell over here with this fell over here. So it's 2x squared plus 3x squared. And then I'm going to use the red and the 5x plus 5x plus 4x. And then in numbers, all my constants is minus 3, minus 7, and plus 10. Minus 3, oops. Minus 3, minus 7, and plus 10. And those are the terms that I have to combine. 2x squared plus 3x squared, that's easy. 5x squared. 5x squared plus 4x is plus 9x. Negative 3 minus 7 plus 10. So do these two first. Negative 3 and negative 7 is negative 10. And negative 10 plus 10 is just equal to 0. So I'm not even going to write that. So this is my final answer. Number 2, 4x. Molly has this much money and Ron has this much money. How much money do they have altogether? Again, if I told you that Molly had $10 and Ron had $12, what would you do with those two? You would add them, right? So likewise, 4x plus 10, and I'm not going to use parentheses because plus 20 minus 5x. When we're adding, it really doesn't make a difference if I put the parentheses and then remove the parentheses because I'm multiplying by a positive 1 on each side, right? So I don't have to put parentheses. I can combine like terms, these two. So it's 4x minus 5x. And then in the other color, I'm going to have plus 10 plus 20. Well, this is negative 1x, right? Negative 1x. And 10 plus 20 is plus 30. Better written would be negative x plus 30. That would be nicer. So that's how much money they have all together, right? This much money. Now, how much more money does Molly have than Ron? So again, if Molly had 20 bucks and Ron had 10, and I asked you how much, well, Molly has more money, how much more? You would do 20 minus 10, right? So this is a subtraction problem, right? So knowing that it's a subtraction problem, I will put parentheses. 4x plus 10. I take this and I subtract 20 minus 5x. Now this matters that I put a parenthesis because when I remove the parentheses, the terms inside are going to have its opposite, right? So again, if you think about it, if I put a 1 here and a 1 here, and I do the distributive property, the first one doesn't really change. It's 4x plus 10, right? Because 1 times 4x is 4x and 1 times 10 is 10. But here, the second parenthesis is negative 1 times 20, which makes that 20 turn into negative 20. And negative 1 times negative 5x, and negative times a negative is a positive, so it becomes 5x. Notice that these two numbers and these two numbers are opposites. Okay, so when we have a minus sign, by removing the parentheses, it becomes the opposite. So, combine like terms, are there any? Yeah, there is. This guy over here and this guy over here. 4x plus 5x. And let me write the other two side by side. Plus 10 minus 20. This is 9x. Positive 10 minus 20 is negative 10. And that's how much more money Molly has. So Molly has 9x minus 10 more dollars. Okay, whatever that means. Ross has this many tickets for Chuck E. Cheese. So he has this many tickets. He's going to play today and wants to buy a prize that is 15x plus 1 tickets. How many tickets must he win to have enough tickets to buy the prize? So let's say he had, and again, and I'm using this, let's say he had 3 tickets. And to win the prize, he had to get 8 tickets. How many tickets would he need to how many tickets must he need to win? How many tickets must he win to have enough tickets to buy the prize? Well, he has 3 tickets right now, and in order to win the prize, he needs 8. So you would do 8 minus 3, and you would tell me that he would need 5 more tickets. So that would be with numbers. Well, we don't have numbers; we have expressions, but the idea is the same. So this is how many tickets he needs, right? And we're going to subtract and minus what he has. He has 8x minus 5, right? So the idea, the concept is the same. It's a subtraction problem, right? So we're going to subtract 8x minus 5 from 15x plus 1. And then that's going to give us how many tickets he needs. So put a 1 over here, put a 1 over here. So do this treaty properly. You notice that these come out exactly the same. But these come out as opposite. So negative 1 and 8x is negative 8x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. Combine like terms, 15x and minus 8x. 15x minus 8x, right? So if you put them side by side, you get that. And that becomes, oh, let me just finish it. And then the other two is positive 1 and positive 5 plus 1 plus 5. All my like terms are next to each other. I can now solve them. 15x minus 8x is 7x, and 1 plus 5 is 6. So how many more tickets does he need? He needs this many more tickets. Okay, so I guess one thing you can do here is substitute these expressions with numbers. You know, Ron has 2 tickets. The price that he wants costs 10 tickets. How many more tickets would he need? Well, he would need 8 more tickets. And what's the operation here? 10 minus 2. So you can apply that same idea to the expressions. He has this many tickets. He needs to get this many tickets. How many more than he needs? It's a subtraction problem. This one's easy, right? So it's just a perimeter, so we're just adding all of them. And again, because we're adding them, it's okay to just go like this. X plus 3 minus 2x plus 7 plus y. Notice that I didn't put parentheses because when I remove them, they come out the same. Let me know when I start to sound repetitive. X minus 2x, right? We can combine those 2 terms, and I can combine this with this, and then the y. So let me put them side by side. X minus 2x plus 3 plus 7, and the y I'm going to put all the way at the end. When I combine, again, if you like, you can put a 1 over here. So what's 1 minus 2? It's negative 1x. 3 plus 7, they're both positive, right? 3 plus 7, so that becomes positive 10. And the positive y. So the perimeter is described by that expression right there. It's a square. So if it's a square, this is also 4z plus 3. This is also 4z plus 3. You can do 4z plus 3 plus 4z plus 3 plus 4z plus 3 plus 4. Or we can do the distributive property. We know that it's 4 times, right? It's the same thing. So this times this, and this times this. 4 times 4 is 16z. And 4 times 3 is plus 12. There you go. A little bit quicker, right? Again, this is a, what is this, a trapezoid, I think? And we want to add all the sides. And I'm just going to write the whole thing. 3ab plus 4a squared plus 6b squared. So I'm doing this side first and then this side. Minus 5ab, it doesn't matter which ones you add. And then this one plus 2a squared. And find the last one plus 3b squared. So I'm going to look for all the ones that are a squared. Right here. Another a squared. I love my pen does that. So this is an a squared, so it's a 4a squared, and there's another a squared. So 4a squared plus 2a squared. Then I'm going to do the b squared. So 6b squared. Another b squared? Yes, there's another one right here. Plus 3b squared. And finally, we have the last two remaining like terms, and this is plus 3ab. And this guy looks like a minus 5ab. Alright, so all my like terms are next to each other. 4a squared plus 2a squared is just 6a squared. 6b squared plus 3b squared is going to be a positive 9b squared, right? And 3ab minus 5ab, again, if you want to, take the time to change that to 3ab plus negative 5ab. So with that, you can clearly tell that you're adding, and one number is positive and the other one is negative. So it's going to be something ab. And there's 3 positive and 5 negative. Who wins? The negative. So it's going to be negative 2ab. So that's my final answer right there. And, oh, quite a lot left. Well, I'm trying to push a little faster. So again, you can take shortcuts. I mean, the more comfortable you are, you know, I'm doing this step by step because, I don't know, 3x squared minus 4 plus 3x squared minus 4 plus 7 minus 2x plus 7 minus 2x plus 5x plus 5. So that would have been your expression, right? So change colors. 3x plus 3x minus 2x minus 2x and plus 5x. So those are all like terms. I'm going to put them all side by side. And then finally, the other one's going to be minus 4, minus 4, so minus 4, minus 4, plus 7, plus 7, plus 5, right? All the constants next to each other. So now it's just a matter of adding. So 3 and 3 is 6, minus 2 is 4, minus 2 is 2, and 2 plus 5. So this looks like 7x. Negative 4, negative 4. So again, it starts from here and goes all the way here. Let's do it from left to right, please. Negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. Negative 1 and 7 is positive 6. And positive 6 plus 5 is 11. Positive 11. Final answer. So all that simplifies to 7x plus 11. Rectangle. So I know that this is 7 plus 3x. And this is 5x minus 2. Or I could have just doubled, right? So if I multiply this by 2, and multiply this by 2, that's another way you could have done it, right? So I'm going to do this, right? Because the bottom is also 7x plus 3x plus 2 times 5x minus 2. Just make, I don't know, it's probably shorter to write it this way. Distributed property, 14 plus 6x, right? And plus 10x and positive 2 minus 4 is negative 4. Can I combine any terms? Well, there is a fell over here and a fell over here that they're the same. So that's 6x plus 10x, and then plus 14 minus 4. So my like terms are next to each other again. It starts here, goes all the way here. 6x plus 10x is 16x. Positive 14 minus 4 is positive 10. This is an equilateral triangle where all the sides have the same length. So you can add all that and write a really long expression, or you can just do this. Because it's 3 times the same side. 3 times 3 is 9a minus 3b. That's my, what do you call? That's my answer. Area of a rectangle is length times width, and the triangle, I'm a fan of this. I don't know why. Instead of this. Same thing. So some people like to write it that way. I like this. So area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So rectangle, we want to find the area. So again, area is length times width. So we're going to do 5. So to find the area is 5. One side times the other. I'll write 5 in this corner, in this side, that's fine too. Distributed property, 15x minus 25y, and the positive times the positive gives me 30. Can I combine anything? No. Done. again, this is another rectangle. Find the area of rectangle. Width is 7, length is 7x, 6x minus 7. So again, the area equals one side times the other. 7 times 6x, they're both positive, so it's 42x. Positive times a negative is a negative, and 7 times 7 is 49, so the area is that much. Triángulo, or triangle. Find the area of the triangle. So the triangle is base times height divided by 2. Where am I? Base times height divided by 2. So here's my 12 times the height, which is 5a plus 7b. All that divided by 2. So that's the area of a triangle. That's how you would write it, right? Now, one thing you can do before you start doing is I can simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I'm left over with this expression. Right, so I highly suggest you do that. Instead of multiplying, doing this really properly by 12, and then divided by 2. It's probably easier to do this. Now I'm ready. I get 38. And 6 times 7b is 42b. Final answer. Again, area, it's another triangle. So it's this times this, right? Base times height. Oops. Whether I write the a on this side or I write the 8 on this side, doesn't matter. All that divided by 2. Can I simplify the 8 into 2? I can. So this is 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my expression cleans up and becomes just this. There's no more fraction. Sometimes that's good. Security property. Let's do the 2 first. It's 24y squared. They're both positive, so it's positive. The second, they're both positive again, so it's 20y. And the last one is positive, and this guy is negative, so it's going to be negative or minus, minus 8. Final answer. A triangle has a perimeter of this, so inside. So I know that if I add this guy plus this guy plus this guy, it gives me this. So 3a plus 8 plus 5a plus b plus this guy, the missing side, equals 10a plus 3b plus 12, right? So let's do something different here. So let's say I told you that the perimeter was 15, and this was 3, this was 7, and I asked you, what is this missing side? What would you do? Well, you would probably add 3 plus 7, which is 10, and then you would do 15 minus 10, and you find out that this little guy here would be 5, correct? So this is no different. So let's add these two, and then we're going to subtract it from that. So 3a, so let's add these two, 3a plus 8 and 5a plus b. Can I add anything? Yeah, I can add this guy. It's this guy. That's 3a plus 5a. And the other one is plus 8 plus b, right? Because those two are not going to do much. So 3a plus 5a is 8a. And I'm going to actually bring the coefficient, the variable first. So when I add these two sides, I get that. I get this. So I'm going to subtract it from the perimeter, the total. I already know what the total is. So the perimeter, 10a plus 3b plus 12. I'm going to subtract the sum of these two sides, right, to find the missing side. So again, be careful here. Because of subtraction, now I'm going to need that parentheses. So still not ready to combine like terms because I'm going to pretend there's a 1 here. And then I'm going to remove the parentheses. So I'm going to get 10a plus 3b plus 12. So if I apply the distributive property here, everybody inside comes out opposite. So if they're plus inside, it's going to be negative. So 8a, which was positive inside the parentheses, becomes negative. The b becomes also negative, and the plus 8 becomes also negative 8. Remember, negative 1 times positive 8 is negative 8. Negative 1 times positive b is negative b. And negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. Now I can combine like terms. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to circle this and circle this. So I get 10a minus 8a. Those two are okay. The b's, I have a 3b here and a minus b. So let me put them side by side. Plus 3b minus b. And in red, I'm going to do the 12 plus 12 minus 8. Well, let's combine. 10a minus 8 is 2a. 3b minus b, remember there's a 1 over here, so 3b minus 1b is positive 2b. And 12 minus 8 is 4. That's my final. And that's the missing side. So that would be the missing side. So I can write over here 2a plus 2b minus 4. And if you wanted to check this, to say, hey, am I doing this right? Add this side plus this side plus this side, and you should get a total of 10a. So if you think about it, and we can quickly do this, this is 3a, this is 5a, and this is 2a, so that's already 10a. The b's, I have a 2b and a b here, so 2b plus b is 3b, so I'm going to put 3b. And then my any constants, all numbers by itself, 8 and 4. Why is this minus 4? Did I do something wrong? Well, this should have been a plus 4, by the way. And 8 plus 4, that's where we have 4, is 12. And notice that this and this are exactly the same. So I know I'm done something correct. 8. For a rectangle with length 3x plus 4, the perimeter is 10x plus 8. So I know that if I add all 4 sides, the perimeter, and it's given to me, 10x plus 18. Well, this is 3x plus 4. What is this side? 3x plus 4, right? So what's the total here of just these two sides together? So I know these two sides, so if I add 3x plus 4 plus 3x plus 4, I'm going to get 6x plus 8, right? So these two sides combine 6x plus 8. So if I subtract this 6x plus 8 from 10x from the total perimeter, so the total perimeter, all the sides added up together is 10x plus 18. Let's subtract these two sides, so minus 6x plus 8. And let's see what I have left over. So 10x plus 18, and again, pretend there's a 1 here. You get negative 6x, and then negative 8. That's going to give me, let's see, I can combine the 10x and the minus 6x, right? Combine these two, so let me rewrite that. So I get 10x minus 6x plus 18 minus 8. So that's going to give me 4x plus 10. So this 4x plus 10 represents this guy and this guy, both widths together. So 4x plus 10 is the sum of the two missing sides. And I know those two missing sides are the same, right? If I divide them by 2, well, if the total is 4x plus 10, that means that one side is 2x plus 5, and the other side is 2x plus 5. Does that make sense? Right, so this would be 2x plus 5, and this guy here is 2x plus 5. Oh my god. So, and again, you can double check, you know what the total is. The total perimeter has to be 10x plus 18. So add all 4 sides that you know now and see if it equals 18. Well, I have 2x, and 2x is 4x, plus 6x, that's 10x, so that's a check. And my constants give me 18. Well, that's a 5, that's a 5, that's 10, plus 4 is 14, plus 4 is 18. And I actually get this, which was a total perimeter to begin with. Well, we know, again, we're good. So this next problem is exactly the same. So again, I'm going to draw the rectangle. So he's telling you that the width here is 3x squared plus 4x, which means this guy over here is 3x squared plus 4x. I don't know this, and I don't know this. But I know if I were to add all 4 sides, if I knew all 4 sides, it would give me 8x squared plus 10x minus 6. So if I subtract this and this from my total, I would get the leftover, right? The sum of the two missing sides. So let's add these two. 3x squared plus 4x. Well, 3x squared plus 4x plus the other side, which is exactly the same. So I can add these two. I get 6x squared. And then add the other two, I get 8x. So those two sides together is 6x squared plus 8x. So let's subtract that. So I got 8x squared plus 10x minus 6, which is a total perimeter. I'm going to subtract, I'm going to take this guy away. I'm going to take 6x squared away and plus 8x. Again, if you want to pretend there's a 1, that make yourself comfortable, do it. If you already This is 10x. Yeah, I forgot an x. 10x minus 6. Or you can just know that when you remove the parentheses, that 6x squared is going to come out as negative 6x squared. And that positive 8x is going to come out as negative 8x. Right? So can we subtract, can we combine, sorry, combine like terms? I can. There's this guy here that I'm going to combine with this. So let me write that on the side. 8x squared minus 6x squared. And then 10x minus 8x plus 10x minus 8x. And then finally, all the way at the end, the minus 6. Right? So these two becomes 2x squared. 10x minus 8x is minus 2, positive 2x. And minus 6. So that's what I know. So this represents the two missing sides. Right? And they're both equal to each other because it's a rectangle. So if the sum of those two missing sides, this guy right here and this guy right here, if I add this and it gives me 2x squared plus 2x minus 6, you can divide by 2. If you divide everything by 2, right, so you're going to get that it's x squared plus x minus 3. And the other side is x squared plus x minus 3. So if you divide this by 2, and you're dividing everyone by 2, divide this guy by 2, divide this guy by 2, and just divide that by 2, you get that one of the missing sides. So I can go over here and write x squared plus x minus 3. And that means that the bottom one is x squared plus x minus 3. And again, you can self-check and add all of them up and see if you get this perimeter. And if you do, you're good. Now we have a square. So a square, okay, and if you add this side that I don't know, plus this side, plus this side, plus this side, it equals 32ab minus 12, right? So the perimeter is that. Now, I know they're all the same because it's square, so if I divide it by 4, well, I'm going to get it. So I'm going to divide this by 4, and although that's a shorter way to write it, you can actually write it like this. It's probably easier if you write it. So I'm going to take the first term divided by 4, and I'm going to take the 12 and divide it by 4. Right? And this and this is the same thing. So here I can simplify. 32 divided by 4 is 8ab minus, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So each side of my square measures 8ab minus 3, 8ab minus 3, 8ab minus 3, and this one is 8ab minus 3. And again, you can self-check, because if you combine all the like terms, you got 8ab plus 8ab plus 8ab plus 8ab is 32, check. Negative 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 3 is 12. We're good. So, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Not as bad, right?